Hey, how you guys doing today? My name is Deshaun, and today I'll be talking to you about the chain of infection. Before I start talking to you about the chain of infection, I have to tell you what an infection is and where it comes from. Well, dating back to the 16th century, people wondered about where did these infections come from. People made theories that these infections came from evil spirits. Well, from studies from multiple physicians and scientists, they came up with the theory known as the germ theory of diseases. The germ theory of diseases stated that diseases were created from microorganisms. In front of you here, I have a picture of a microorganism. As you can see, you have never seen such an object before with this characteristic. Because it is so small, it must be viewed from a microscope. There are 5 categories of microorganisms. There are bacteria, algae, protozoa, fungi, and viruses. According to the National Park Services, just as there are millions of different species of plants and animals in the world, there are millions of different species of microorganisms in the world. Microorganisms come in all shapes and sizes. Microorganisms are good or they could be bad. An example of a good microorganism is E. coli. E. coli is a bacteria found in the intestines which helps aid in the digestion in your body. An example of a bad microorganism is HIV. HIV is a virus that attacks your immune system and weakens your body and makes you more prone to infections and diseases. Things like HIV are an example of microorganisms that goes down what we know as the chain of infection. The chain of infection is a recyclable process. It happens over and over and over again. It starts off with the reservoir, also known as the host. The host has infectious agents, also known as microorganisms, and is transferred to a new host. The way it transfers to this new host is by an infectious agent leaving its original host through the portal exit. Through the portal exit, it gets to the new host through the portal entry through the mode of transmission. When it gets to this new host, the new host is now infected. This method or chain of infection is a way that shows the interaction between an infectious agent, the host, and the environment. Here we have a reservoir. A reservoir can be a human, animal, or environment, and the infectious agent uses them as a place to live, grow, and multiply. We have the portal exit. The portal exit is the path by which an infectious agent leaves its host. The mode of transmission is the multiple ways an infectious agent can be transferred. Infectious agents can be transferred through direct contact, droplet spread, or indirect contact. An example of direct contact is touching one another. Droplet spread is sneezing or coughing. Indirect contact consists of airborne, which is through the air, vectors, which are mosquitoes, and vehicles, which is food, water, and fomites. After the mode of transmission, the infectious agent enters the portal entry. And the portal entry is where the infectious agent enters the susceptible host. The susceptible host gets infected depending on the immune system or genetics. The medical field is very open to the chain of infection. Why? Because when one patient has an infection, if you're not properly prepared to deal with that patient, you may transfer that infection from that patient to yourself. And if not cautious, you can transfer that infection from yourself to another patient. If not that, you could transfer the infection from that one patient to yourself and transfer that infection from yourself to the people at home. The most effective way to avoid this situation is washing your hands. Washing your hands with warm water for 30 to 45 seconds is the best way in avoiding infectious diseases. The chain of infection is a recyclable process, and if you're not careful with yourself, you could spread infections from person to person to person. Infection prevention EU states that the best way to avoid infectious diseases is by washing your hands, keeping up with your vaccinations, and covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Well, guys, that was the end of my discussion about the chain of infection. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please don't be the next host.